Welcome to episode 13 of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. This week I have Josh and Cameron joining me. Ben is unable to join us again, so he'll be back hopefully next week. We're 11 weeks in, only 3 more weeks until playoffs. Right now we have 2 people still in the top 6 that could do a league reset. One of those is Cameron, and then we have Mike, who's sitting at the top, alone at the top, and he's actually locked in the first playoff spot. So he could lose out these next 3 weeks and still be in the playoffs. The other 2 former league winners, Ryan and Mark, and then Andrew, they continue to fall in the standings. So for most of us, we're rooting for that. That's awesome. Get wrecked. And then also this episode, as we always do, Cameron and Josh, they'll put in their 2 cents for who they believe are the best teams in the league. They'll also share their opinions on who they think is going to get last. Very possible I'm becoming more and more of a favorite pick. Maybe more so just because they want to see what kind of punishment video I do, more so than, well, what somebody else might do. And of course, we got Week 12 matchup predictions. We'll all break down the matchups. We got some big ones this week, and then just a few bits of NFL news and topics after that wraps up. So, Cameron, Josh, glad to have you on. How you both doing?
Thank you, Mitch.
Doing good. Happy Thanksgiving.
Doing good? Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving. This is our Turkey Day, Turkey Week episode.
Honored.
So, real quick, that's how I always start off. Cameron, how are you feeling about your team?
Great. Fantastic. Who needs Mark Andrews, right? No, I feel fine. Obviously had a not fun week, but nobody wants to hear my sob story about injuries. Everybody's got injuries. So just a fun fact, I had Mark Andrews in every league that I'm in. He was my second pick in every single league. I had no backup plan in any league. So I feel a little defeated.
It's like somebody took a dagger then actually turned it on you.
Yeah, and that's the risk of having the same player across different leagues, you know. You like a player, so you want to have him on every team, but it's risky, and it makes your soul crush when he gets hurt. So,
Josh, how you feeling about your team?
Not good.
Not good? Are you feeling better about your team now than you did a few weeks ago? Because your team is climbing the rankings.
Yeah, but my next 3 weeks are pretty rough. I got Ryan and Mark this week, Ben, and then Cameron. Pretty rough.
Yeah, you do have some tough matchups. So, well, we don't need to hear about how I feel about my team. All I can say is I've never seen a team look better at 9-2 than mine. Just kidding. All right. So, league standings right now. Who would you both have as the top teams in the league? Josh, I want to start with you. Who do you think have the best teams in the league?
Ben's got a good team, and one thing about Ben's team, he had Nick Chubb go down. I mean, he could be top team pretty good there. But so yeah, I'd give Ben one of them spots. P. Ryan would have another spot. His team's looking good. I think he's too far out of it, but I really Steve's team's coming together nicely. If I had to give it to a team though that was still in it, I guess Mike. But I don't know. It's pretty tight. Cameron's got a good team. That sucks with Andrews, but so I guess Ben, AJ, and Mike with an honorable mention to Steve.
Steve gets an honorable mention.
His team's it's looking good here lately. I mean, I know last week was a little rough. It was rough for me too. So 2 weeks ago, I play anybody but Steve, I'm probably winning. This last week, I play anybody but Clark, I'm probably losing. So
Yeah,
Cameron, who do you have?
it's the same three teams. I don't know if Josh, if you said it in any order, but I'd say Ben's probably three, Mike's probably two, and then AJ's probably one in my mind.
So they're my top three. I don't necessarily have an honorable mention. I know Cameron, your team is all dependent with Christian McCaffrey. Any given week, he could go out there and win it for you. So I think you'll always be in the fight no matter what. I do want to take this one step further since we all have the same top three. Who do you guys believe will have the first round bye? So I'm basically going to have you guys eliminate one of the top three teams.
I think I like AJ's. I think his team's just it's coming together nicely. I don't want to play him.
Yeah, I think if I had to eliminate one, it would be Ben. Mostly because he's a game back
Wait,
from Mike, right?
maybe
And
maybe I answered that wrong. What was that, Mitch?
So top two teams, who's going to get the first round bye?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, AJ.
yeah, so
And
I'd kick out Ben, and that would leave AJ and Mike.
okay, so Josh, you have AJ and Mike
So
as well.
I'm the opposite of Cameron. I like AJ and Ben. Kick out Mike.
So I like Ben's team and I like AJ's team. I like them both more than Mike's. But 3
Yeah,
weeks to
that's where I'm.
go and Mike having one win on them already, I think is what's going to help Mike lock it up. So, I think it's going to be between AJ and Ben fighting for that spot. I think AJ gets it. I think his team just has a higher ceiling, but Ben's team, Mr. Consistent. His team it consistently gets the right amount of points. So, all right. Who do you guys think is going to get last place? It's okay to say me. If you guys so choose to say my team is going to get last place this year, after all said and done, I completely understand.
Yeah, I'll go first. I'd probably pick Mitch. um, and there's who knows what'll happen. I mean, just like in the championship bracket, if you're the sixth seed, you can still not get last. So, or if sixth seed, you still win. So,
Yep.
even though you're 12th now, doesn't mean you're going to get last. But I think I picked Mitch. Sorry.
I know the playoffs, because playoffs.
Playoffs.
Whenever the playoffs start, it doesn't matter if it's a championship bracket or the consolation. It really is the start of a new season.
Right.
You hope to get those first round buys to kind of give you better odds. And in this case, you want to make sure you're not in the bottom four because that increases your odds of getting last place. So, yeah, new season will start in 3 more weeks, and then it'll be who's in the bottom four. Then okay, who has the worst team out of those? So, but you say it to me, I respectfully disagree, but I appreciate your honesty.
You're welcome.
Josh, who do you got?
It's really tough. I feel like any team's capable of beating. Even the bottom teams are capable of taking down a top team. But if I had to give it, maybe Taylor. It'd be between Mitch or Taylor. But I played Taylor's team a couple weeks ago, and man, it was a butthole clincher. It was close. Wow, I was sweating it so hard.
Great choice of words there, Josh.
But so yeah, I don't know. It'd be. I don't know though. I mean, Mitch has got some good pieces. I mean, Taylor does too. He gets Jefferson back. I don't know. I might change my mind on that.
I know beginning of the season with Taylor's team, him having Justin Jefferson, that was a big key cog on his team. And if Justin Herbert could return to form at any capacity, I mean, his team can go off. He has home run hitters on his team that could get him some wins.
It wasn't fun going against him.
Oh no. If he has a healthy team, I wouldn't want to go against that team either. My prediction is going to be Orscheln. He's not in the bottom 4 right now. He's one game off. It's
having some bad luck.
His team's not that good. It's like, I know some people, they don't look at projected scores or how many points they've actually scored all year, but Andrew's among the bottom. I think there's only one person that scored fewer points than him.
Clark.
Yeah. Clark. And Andrew's put up a lot of bad weeks. He's put up some massive weeks, but that was at the beginning. But Andrew's consistently not scoring well. So, and I might be rooting for a rematch of the championship of last year. So, I hope he gets last place, because one of those games in the playoffs he loses to me, because I will be there. I guess he technically still has hope to get into the top 6, but his team really needs to do a 180 if his team's going to make the top 6, because he's going to have to do it record-wise. There's going to be so many people tied with the same record for 6th place, and his team won't. He won't have enough points. So, all right. I want to go ahead and transition into Week 12 matchup breakdowns, predictions. Just like last week, I'm not going to share screens since the software tends to get unhappy. So myself, Cameron, and Josh, we have our other devices in front of us that we'll be looking at matchup breakdowns as we talk these through. So we are actually going to start off with me and Andrew's match. I guess it'd probably be appropriate if I started this breakdown first. I know going into last week, Andrew and I had a rare trade. It's really tough to trade with Andrew, but we traded. And looking at his lineup, the player I traded him, he currently has on the bench, which I think is a mistake. Traded him Sam Howell. But anyways, just looking at the matchup, when it comes to quarterbacks, well, right now the projected score is 104.86 me to 98.2. Jalen Hurts to Trevor Lawrence, I have that beat. Whenever it comes to wide receivers, he has Kupp and Smith. I have Kirk and Pittman, or Puka. I have Puka in my flex. I could argue Puka could have a bigger game than Kupp. Honestly, I like my wide receivers more. Kupp could blow up any given week, but Puka could easily win that.
Is Kupp going to play?
That I don't know. He has a low ankle sprain. I don't know if he's on target to play this week or not. He's currently day to day. But that's probably even more reason for Puka. Puka's also questionable.
There's Cameron.
I sneezed.
Running backs, I'll give Andrew the edge a little, not much. I think Jonathan Taylor's doing better, returning to form. I actually have a second starter now with Cook, but between Swift and Jacobs, I think those two just will do a little bit better than Taylor and Cook. When it comes to tight end, Andrew's playing the Wombo combo with Lawrence and Ingram. Sorry, I like Schultz. I think he's more consistent at getting more points. Ingram could have a big game, don't get me wrong, but I like Schultz more.
Schultz has more. Yeah, he has a little more touchdown upside too.
Yeah. The flex spot, I mean, he also has a wide receiver, so I guess really if you look at his 3 wide receivers versus mine, I think I have him beat. I think receptions alone, one of my guys could easily get just as many receptions as all 3 of his guys, especially between Pittman and Kirk. Depending on the game, either one of them could get 8 to 12 receptions. Same thing with Puka. kicker because Andrew likes kickers. Sorry, my kicker's better. And then when it comes down to defenses, this one's going to be interesting. So he has New England's defense against the Giants, and I have San Fran against Seattle. So I got a divisional game on a Thursday night, and he has a defense going against one of the worst teams in the league. I'll probably call that a wash, even split. But yeah, I think overall I have Andrew beat this week. My team's better this week. It should win this week. My team finds ways to lose, or players on the other team just find ways to have big games against me. So, but if I need Andrew in the bottom four, I gotta win this week. I score north of 100. Andrew does not score 90.
Yeah.
Cameron, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'll go. I think I agree with most of what you said.
Mm-hmm.
A lot hinges on Cooper Cup, but yeah, I like Puka too. I think I have you winning as well, and I don't think either of you score 100. You'll both be in the 90s. It'll be close. You'll score 95. He'll score 94. It'll be a 1-point game. But I think Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence will do better than you think. I think he'll match Hurts closer than you think in points. But I think it comes down. You'll win because of Puka. That's what I think.
Josh?
Yeah, as it sets, I think I give Mitch a little advantage there. I mean, Andrew's team don't look bad. I don't. Christian Watson's about the only one I don't really like there. Yeah, I think I'd give it to Mitch a little bit. It's all really tight. Mitch has got a pretty sizable advantage there in the flex. Yeah, I'll go Mitch.
See, my argument for him getting last place looks even better now because you all just agreed that I'm going to win this week against a team that I think is going to get last. So I like how that went. So I'm gonna take that as a win, and we're gonna move on to the next matchup. Let's transition to Mickey B and Clark. Josh, how about you start this breakdown?
Okay. I like Mike on quarterback by a little bit. Mike easy on receivers. I do like Clark on running backs. Yeah, I'm going to give this to Mike. I just, like he always does, that them two receivers just pay off so good for him. And then another one I see there, Tank Dell. He's been really good last couple weeks.
He's been something else.
So, yeah, I'm gonna give it to. I think Mike's just got a stronger team there.
Cameron?
Yeah, who would have thought at the beginning of the year that we'd have Josh Dobbs versus Baker Mayfield?
Yeah.
That is something. I'll keep it short. I think Mike wins. I really wanted to pick Clark. And Clark, if I picked you, I think the only place you have an advantage across the board would be kicker and defense. So I was going to try to come up with a way that your kicker gets about 20 and your defense gets about 20. But I got to pick Mike. I think I like every position better on Mike's team. I'll keep it that simple.
I agree with Cameron here. I mean, I give maybe kicker. That would be it. I think Cincinnati's defense. I mean, they just lost Joe Burrow.
Pittsburgh is so bad, though.
Pittsburgh is so bad. I think it's one of those with they have a new offensive coordinator, so we'll see. But I just think with everything that's going on there, it's defense. I don't care. But then again, Mike has Tampa Bay defense. I don't know. That's a wash. The rest of it, I think, across the board, Mike has by little. The big difference between these two teams, Mike has home run hitters. Clark does not. And I think if one of Mike's guys pops off, that'll be it. He doesn't need his whole team to pop off, just one or two. And especially with Tank Dell on there now, that's something else. So that very well might be a good keeper for Mike at the end of this year.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah.
Mike will break 100. Clark, I don't. You might get your projected score. You'll get 90. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and go to Ryan and Mark versus Josh. Josh, I'm going to have you start this one again. This is a big matchup. I mean, yep, I'm going to have you start on your own match. This is a big one for you. You're one game out of the playoffs, or one game from being up there for the playoffs.
Every game's been big, Mitch.
Not whenever you only have 2 wins. You just accept it.
Well, I know they're giving me the the higher projection, but I'm going to go with Ryan and Mark. Mahomes. I mean, although Mahomes, this does look like maybe a get right matchup for him. Chase lost Burrow. That might be a little strong on that projection. Metcalf's been showing up these last few weeks. Let's see here. He's got Tua's. Let's see. I actually don't really know what Tua's been doing. Kind of up and down. He's got, I don't know. It's pretty tight, really. I mean, one thing for sure, you got the 1-2 tight ends there. Yeah, I'll give it to Ryan and Mark. I think they're a little generous on my projections there this week. I'm actually, if A-Chain is not ready or 100%, I hope they go ahead and just, don't play him, and it'll be better for me just to go ahead and have Mostert in there getting majority of the work. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to Ryan and Mark a little bit. This is gonna be a rough matchup.
So I think the big thing with this matchup that I'm seeing, Miami against the Jets. How well are they gonna do? Jets are in the middle of a well, they've been in the middle of a I can't talk right now. An identity crisis on offense. It's a divisional game. I could see the Jets giving Miami a lot of issues. So I really think it's going to come down to that game. I think your team took a massive hit losing Joe Burrow. Josh. Cincinnati, they turned it around earlier this year. They got going. It's like, all right, yeah, your team can do it now. But Chase, you're right. He's over projected right now.
Yeah, and then Javonte Williams, they got him projected pretty good, but he's going against the roughest defense in the league. So
man, I mean, matchups are brutal. I'm gonna give it to Ryan and Mark, and that's only because I think Miami will show up against the Jets. That's not something I'm willing to bet ice cream on, though. Man, this is going to be an interesting matchup to watch. I could see Kelsey going off on their team. So anything you get with Mahomes will just be negated, basically, because Kelsey, it's going to be a revenge game for him. I could see Mahomes having a big game, too, after last week against the Eagles. So Oh man, I'm gonna give it to Ryan and Mark, but that's only because I think Miami's gonna show up against the Jets. Other than that, this is an evenly split matchup. That's about all I can say on this. I think both teams will break 100, but I don't think we're going to see no 130 or 140 point scores from either team this week. It's capable, but it's not going to happen this week. Matchups are too tough.
Yeah. I'm going to pick Ryan and Mark too, for different reasons. I tend to not think that Miami's going to show up against the Jets. The only way I could see that happening is the Jets' offense being so bad that they just have short fields. Miami does, and you're going to score at least field goals if you have short fields. So, but I honestly I think that Josh loses because of Derrick Henry and Travis Etienne and Kelsey. Really, those three. Um, because Josh, your matchups suck. I don't want Bijan against New Orleans. I don't want Javonte against Cleveland. I don't want Mostert against the Jets, just like the other Miami players. And
I
Chase.
know, but it's like, what do? You can't sit those guys though.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you got to roll with it. And
Yeah.
I know the only guy I'm really excited about on my lineup is Mahomes, and I could see Metcalf showing up tomorrow night. Divisional game. I could see Metcalf showing up. Hawkinson, I could see him showing up against the Bears. He's been. Is Jefferson gonna play?
I don't think so. Well, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't think so.
I'm not saying it's gonna go this way, but I think the Jets are tougher on the pass than the run. That could help Mostert a little bit, but I don't know. And in my lineup ain't set until until everything gets ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, not to stick on Miami too long, but I think they scored 20 points last week against the Raiders. So, and again, Miami scored 70 points. I'm not saying they're a bad offense; they're a good offense, but I just feel like I got to go with the last bit of information I had, and they played the Raiders and only scored 20 points. So going against the Jets have such a good defense. And I say that when Buffalo just scored whatever 100 points. So I do think that Derrick Henry's been struggling mightily, but he plays Carolina, and then Travis Etienne did get into the end zone last week, and he plays Houston. I think those two players are gonna destroy. So yeah, Josh, I don't think you score 100, and I think it's one of those weeks maybe that uh, Ryan and Mark get like 240-point performances. So
Thanks,
For what
Cameron.
it's
I've been
worth,
wrong
Josh,
about everything, Josh. So you should feel good.
we want Ryan and Mark to lose because they already got a championship. So, all right, let's transition over to, let's see, Drew and Ben. Cameron, how about you start this breakdown?
You got it. So Drew and Ben, just my initial reaction would be to pick Ben, mostly because of Josh Allen and Dalton Kincaid going against Philly. Um, I don't love Keenan Allen against Baltimore. Baltimore is probably the second best defense in the league. And Ben is starting Jordan Addison, which we had a trade Ben and I did for Jordan Addison. Yeah, I'm looking at Drew's team real fast too. I don't know what the deal with Tony Pollard is, and there's so many divisional games too this week. It's hard. Divisional games are so hard to pick because you think you know what's going on in the NFL, and then Dallas plays Washington and they scored 10 points. So I think I'm just going to pick Ben mostly because Kincaid almost looks like their wide receiver one, and I know that Drew has Stephon Diggs on his team, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think Ben wins, and it's projected really close. I think it will be close. Um, I'd say if Drew's going to win, he's going to need 25 plus points from Brock Purdy, which could happen.
Josh?
I agree with a lot of what Cameron said there. It's it is close. Definitely like Ben better on quarterback. I like Ben better on receiver. Running backs is tight. I kinda want to go Drew on running backs, but I don't know. It's pretty tight. And the way like Cameron said, the way Kincaid's been being used, I don't know. I mean, that's tough though because Kittle's in a divisional game too, and he can always show up big. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go Ben. Just like you said, Mitch. His team's just been, it seems like it shows up every week. Like he just gets that. Don't see too many down games out of Ben, so I'm gonna go Ben.
Yeah, and before you go, Mitch, while you were talking, Josh, I look at it a little closer. I do like Drew's team. I feel
Yeah,
like I made it sound like I picked Ben and it's a landslide. If Drew won, it would not surprise me.
no, it's close.
Drew's
It's
team is
close.
good. So
Yeah,
uh, yeah, I I almost want to switch to Drew, but I'm gonna stick with Ben.
Well, I'm going to pick Ben. This will be a close match, and I think, Cameron, you kind of said it there too. Brock Purdy's going to have a big game. Uh, he's been doing better the past 3 weeks. What's the matter, Cameron?
what's going on, Cameron?
No, sorry, Josh is sucking on a Capri Sun. Had me Italian. You didn't hear it, I guess. I'm sure everybody heard it.
A Capri Sun.
Yeah,
Well,
you didn't hear the
before I finish my
slurp.
prediction here,
Oh,
Josh,
sorry.
are these Capri Suns for you or for your kids?
They're up for grabs.
Fair enough. I've had some of Jackson's Capri Suns, so I won't hate on it. All right,
That one wasn't great.
They're not a paid sponsor, so we're not gonna. Yeah.
It was the
We're not ready for that
it
yet.
just kind of watered down.
Um,
Yeah, Abby's saying they're different than they used to be.
so she drinks them too.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm gonna get back on topic here. um, I think this matchup will be close. I'm gonna give it to Ben because his team is consistent. Brock Purdy's gonna have to score at least 25 points. I would imagine Diggs will rebound this week. Past 2 weeks, he has not done well, but Philly's
I
secondary is
don't
not
know,
great.
guys. I think there's a little tension there. I think Josh Allen's in love with Dalton Kincaid.
He might be, but Allen's also a winner. I think. If he's gonna, if they're gonna have a chance to win, they got to get Diggs going.
Hasn't
And I
Diggs been
think,
pretty? Hasn't Diggs been upset?
oh yeah, he's not happy with the situation there.
Last 2
And
years, he's been upset.
Oh,
so, but I think if he's gonna turn around, it would be against Philly. Philly's pass defense is not great. McLaurin, he'll get his points. Pollard, he won't get 14. Pollard is overrated. Now, this is a divisional game. I could see, I don't know, these divisional games are just exciting to watch. Because you never know what's going to happen. Kittle, I mean, if Purdy has a big game, hopefully Kittle does, and his, well, at least for Drew's sake. Looking at Ben's team, Josh Allen's going to score north of 20 points against Philly. Ken Allen, I get that against Baltimore. Chargers, they're in a must-win. Like, they got to win. It's just across
Allen's he's been good this year.
Yeah, he has. Same thing
I
with
think I
Mike
had
Evans.
him.
That was a surprise.
I think I had him the previous 2 years, and I had he was hurt last year, and then yeah, I was a little early on him. But yeah, and then Mike Evans has been
Yeah.
really good.
But I just think across the, I don't want to say across the board, this is a tough match. I could easily see Drew winning this match. I think the matchups favor Ben a little bit more, and Ben's team has just been more consistent than Drew's in terms of performance. And I think this is just one of those weeks. So this is a big matchup too. I mean, this will almost lock up a playoff spot for Ben if he wins this, because that'll just put the fifth place person just one more, even another game back.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's obvious. It's obvious to say, but on the flip side, it puts Drew right on that bubble. You know,
Oh, it
makes
does.
the next couple of weeks very important. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
But I give it to Ben. All right. We're going to transition to the other side of the standings, to Taylor and Steve. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So I'll start this. I'll do this one. This is one of those matchups that it seems to be like every week. There's one team I pick out, like you have no business winning. Like it's going to be a blowout. Steve should win this game without too much issue. I don't know if there's much more I could say on top of that. Dak has been big for Steve recently. That was smart getting him in a trade, especially after he lost out on Dak on a waiver bid or fab bid by like $1. And he had to trade to go get him. But Steve's team has shown up. It's doing what it needs to do.
Yeah.
His team can perform any given week. I don't think he has any chance to make the playoffs. I think he's too far back. He needs way too much help. I'm sure Steve knows that. I think, especially after losing last week, that kind of ended his chances of making the playoffs. But yeah, I think all around, quarterback is the one position I could see him losing this week. I think everything else, position-wise, he has down the board.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that he might not have, so kickers and defenses, that could be a wash, but that's not to say that he has a bad kicker or a bad defense. It's just Taylor, some of his best players are probably his kicker and his defense. But yeah, I give Steve. I do think Steve will score 100 points. Taylor might score 80. That's where I'm at. Josh?
Like I said, I gave an honorable mention to Steve's team. Steve's got a strong team. It's unfortunate, how it went for him or early on. But yeah, I got Steve on this.
You're just gonna leave it there? It's fine if you are.
Yeah, I like Steve all the way across the board better. So.
All right, Cameron.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, like you said, Mitch, maybe quarterback. Taylor's got Herbert there, but yeah, other than that, I like Steve all the way across the board.
So I will mention, at least as of right now, Justin Jefferson is projected points this week. I don't know if that's going to be the case. looks like he's currently questionable.
Yeah, I think they have a bye next week, and I'm pretty sure he can miss this game and then come back after the bye. So
That almost
that's
makes
kind of what
sense
I
for the
think.
Vikings to do.
That's what I think they'll do. Yeah. Um, why bring him back this week?
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Um, and even if they do bring him back, I don't know if he plays 100% of snaps. I don't know.
Yep.
I'll keep mine short too. I like Steve's team across the board. I think the best player, just to talk about something else in this matchup. I think the best player on both teams, minus the quarterbacks, is probably Brees Hall, um, even above Eckler. I mean, last week Eckler. I don't know if y'all watched that game. Eckler had a surefire 60-yard touchdown, runs down the sideline, and about 6 guys caught up to him. I mean, he looked like me running or you running. So I don't think he's healthy. I really don't. Uh, I don't know. And they're playing. Are they playing Baltimore? Yeah, I don't. Like I said, Baltimore's probably the second best defense in the whole league. So um, I feel like Brees Hall is the best player on both teams. Again, minus the quarterbacks, but I don't think it matters. I think Steve wins every other spot.
I
So
I wouldn't discount out Joe Mixon. With Burrow being down,
sure, yeah,
Mixon's gonna get a lot of work.
yeah, and I'm just talking purely if I was picking players in the backyard
Yeah.
on who
Oh
I'd want
yeah.
on my team.
Yeah.
I think Brees would be the first person I would pick. So I'm just saying that because there's a chance he can always bust one. Where, yeah, I mean, if I look at the situation across the board, they're going to give the ball to Mixon a ton. I mean,
Yeah.
he's going to touch the ball a ton.
Yeah. And then
So
uh, is Winston starting for the Saints?
I don't know. He might be, but
If he is, I think that's good for Olaf.
yeah. I mean, really, Steve probably wins this matchup just with Mixon and David Montgomery. So
Yeah.
and Dak. I mean, Dak's going to be awesome. You would think. So
Yeah.
It's a
Steve.
divisional game. Those are different,
It is. It is.
especially the NFC East.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here. Hold on, I was actually checking something. Hold on, I was trying to look at Dak's stuff. When did they play Washington? I'm only seeing it in their schedule that they play once. I know that can't be right.
It must be.
They play in week 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be at the last game.
That makes sense. Okay, yeah, you're probably right. Okay, all right. Let's transition to probably the matchup of the week.
Do we have
This
to?
has yeah, we have to. I mean, this has bye playoff implications right here. We're going to talk about Cameron and AJ. Cameron, lead us off.
Okay. I don't want to play AJ. A little history. So we're all playing who we played in week 1, obviously. I played AJ in week 1. I gave him a loss, a well-earned loss. I won by .02, which is as close as you can get without a tie because you can't get .01. So I think that happens again. I think I beat AJ. I upset all the odds, and I beat AJ by .02 again. And here's why. We talk about the divisional game all the time, especially the NFC East, right, Mitch? So, CD, I'm sorry. Washington's going to shut you down. I can't name a single defensive player on Washington. I can't tell you one defensive player. Shutting them down.
Oh, Cameron,
Amon-Ra?
I'm
Oh,
gonna
get ready, Josh.
politely
You'll get your turn.
disagree
You'll get your
on
turn.
Lamb.
So, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Washed. The dude is awful. Like, everybody thinks that he's so good. Everybody loves him because he's this, like, underdog story. Look, he fell in the draft for a reason, all right? The NFL draft. Nobody wanted him because he's no good. So he's going to get, like, 2 points. Who else we got? Saquon. Giants suck. They're going to score 3 points.
St. Brown's gonna have 2 points in the first 2 minutes if they get the ball first.
Kyron Williams? Are you kidding me? The dude's been hurt. He's going to come back, and he's going to get 3 touches. They're going to ease him in against Arizona.
He's going to pull that. He's going to pull an A chain.
Here's the big one. You got 3 players, AJ, on Chicago. You got 3 players. Justin Fields is going to throw for 100 yards and 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and that's it. But my team's going to do just as bad, and I'm going to beat you by .02. And I mean all this sincerely. I win by .02. I don't know how it's going to shake out, but I win by .02.
Josh, do you want to follow that?
I think that was some pretty shaky analysis.
Yeah.
But so I think I'm going to give Cameron the edge there at quarterback.
Oh, I thought you said the matchup.
I'm going to give Cameron the edge there at quarterback. I think that's going to be a pretty unless Baltimore, I'm still going to give him the edge there. I like AJ's receivers. I'm going to give the edge to Cameron on running back. You know what? I might go Cameron here.
Convinced you.
AJ's receivers is what's holding me up. That could be. I couldn't disagree more on CD Lamb Cameron. Washington is very, very look what DeVito did against him last week. So gosh, this is tight. This is because Cameron don't got a kicker in there either. Wow. I'm gonna go Cameron. I'm gonna go Cameron a little bit, but I kind of want to go P. Ryan here too. He's got good team. I just when I went down the list, I kind of kept coming up with a little more on Cameron's side there, but I'm gonna go Cameron just ever so slightly. .02. That's what I'm gonna do. Yep.
Let me go AJ. I think Chicago's going to have a big game against Minnesota. And I think that's how he's going to win. I think this game's pretty evenly across the board. I think Chicago's going to have a big game. AJ's riding and dying with Chicago. Chicago has a bad game, Cameron wins. So I think it all comes down to that game. One of the big things I want to point out this week. So if you've played Cameron, you know how he plays over the years. You like this matchup, he's going to be mostly done before AJ's player starts playing. And I know that's going to eat away at him, and it's great. It's It's going to make him nervous. And that's probably why we got the kind of reaction we did from him earlier, because he's seen these matchups. He's like, great, 3 people on Monday. There's a few big players playing on Thursday for AJ, but it's I know, Cameron, you have also 3 people playing on Thursday. You have your defense playing on Friday. You're going to have almost half of your team, depending on what your kicker is, done before Sunday even comes around. And if you're sitting under projected, you're going to be sweating.
If I'm sitting up, let's go down a hypothetical world. I'm up 70 going into Monday. I'm not going to feel safe. I mean, I'm really not. So obviously, I was being a little bit cheeky. So here's real quick what I'll actually say about our matchup. I do think AJ wins. I do want to beat him by .02 again. That would be very satisfying.
God.
But I honestly I don't know what my team's going to look like, and there's games tomorrow morning. So I may start Charbonnet. I may start Josh Downs. I don't know. So I really don't know what my team's going to look like, honestly. So AJ's team is ridiculously good right now. It's on fire. He's the last team I want to play. I'd rather play anybody else but him. So, yeah, it sucks.
All right. All right. And that's it for the Week 12 matchup predictions. So, to end this episode, there's 2 things I want to talk about. So, Josh, a few weeks ago, it's probably closer to about 3 or 4 weeks, you and I had a big trade. We traded quarterbacks, tight ends, and wide receivers. Now, I know at that point in time, I was looking to next year. Like, I was starting to invest next year. My team was already,
Yeah,
fate
and I
has already
was
shown its face to me as to how this year is going to end, and you still had playoff
I was
hopes.
chasing now.
And
Yeah.
well, I mean, looking at your 1 game back, you could be in the top 6 after this week. So
Yeah,
I can't
but
say you did the right or wrong decision. But
I
if
think
you're trying to win, you have a team that can win.
I think it's dead even.
So, well, I want to ask you this question, because we did the trade. We were both happy with that trade. Fast forward to now, are you still happy you did that trade, or do you wish you had it back?
No, I'd do it again.
Okay, same. Well, it's just my record's the same. So,
I mean, the first couple weeks we did it, I kind of tracked a little bit, and I think I come out ahead with our trade.
you were.
So, for me, it's all about Hawkinson. That was a huge get for my team, because I was on the tight end carousel big time. I mean, that was the glaring spot on my team. And, I thought replacing, even though I do lose the opportunity to keep Hurts next year, I thought, I'm replacing Mahomes for Hurts. And like I said, I made the decision on trying to bolster my team to hopefully slip in the back door.
Yep.
I don't think my team's going to now, but I'd still do it again though. I like having Hawkinson. In short, that's big. I think Hawkinson keeps going though, even when Jefferson comes back. Dobbs really likes to throw to the T's. So
I think so too. I think he's going to continue any given week, give you a big week.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's down last week, but but yeah, I still and Cooper ain't he's hard to kind of get excited about, but he's without a doubt the number 1 receiver on that team, and he's getting a lot of targets. I think him and Pittman are closer than you think. Pittman catches a lot more balls, but I think I think Cooper's a little better for big play, touchdown. So I think
Yeah.
they're a little closer than you think. And
Well,
Hurts probably has been beating Mahomes a little bit, but I mean, look what Mahomes did. Just what is the game before Denver? He put up 40 something.
it was the
I
first week after
mean,
we traded. I told you he was
he
going to have
might.
a big game.
I need him to do it this week. If he can do it this week, that'd be magical. That'd help me a ton. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't see my team getting in. I think my and Yahoo said that in my draft grade. They really didn't harp on my team too much. They just it pointed out I had a pretty bad schedule, and it's come to fruition. So, and I don't know. I got to get by. I could probably can I maybe lose one and still maybe have a shot if Clark loses two.
I think this week you almost got to win because let me pull this back up. I was
See, and
looking at it because you're playing
that
against
sucks
somebody
too
that's
because
ahead
I
of you.
don't. That
No,
sucks
you're
too
playing
because I
Ryan
don't
Mark.
think
So
it. It don't. I
you
don't think it
could afford to
happens.
lose. You could afford to lose this week, but you're going to want to see Clark and Drew lose. If both of them win this week and you lose, it's probably all but over for you. You'd
Yeah.
have to win out and they'd have to lose out, or one of them would have to lose out.
Yeah. If I lose
I
this
know.
week to Ryan and Mark, I have to beat Ben and Cameron probably, and it's gonna be tough. And
So
it's so frustrating. Every day I look at my team and I'm like, how's this team doing what it's doing? I mean, I I told I was talking to Steve. I said I'm pretty sure this is like one of my top 3 teams. Just looking at
yep.
them, but I don't know though. You break it down. There's some cracks in it though. Bajan's dealing with Arthur Smith.
Hmm.
That still pisses me off. I still stand behind him as the best back in the league, talent wise. Anyway, he's just stuck in a shitty situation. Mahomes ain't quite playing up. Metcalf wasn't until recently. He's kind of. I could see Metcalf and Chase kind of switching for me. Chase was doing good, and I could see them two kind of switching. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Even with a less than ideal quarterback situation, I still like having Chase. I mean, if they're going to try to do something, he's probably going to be involved one way or another.
Right.
So,
Oh,
and I just seen a report too that said they believe Browning can, obviously he ain't as good as Burrow, but they think he can still do majority of what they want him to do. So, well, we'll see. But yeah, anyway, sorry for the long answer, but yeah, I'd still do the trade again, and it's all. I like having Hawkinson. That's awesome.
yeah. I mean, unless something absolutely crazy happens with Hurts this year at the end, like him getting hurt or something crazy like that, that's going to be a keep. I think the only way I wouldn't consider keeping him is if I get like the 11th or 12th pick in the draft, because then that would be an early 4th round pick for Hurts. But I'd like to think I'll get at least a top 4 pick.
And I probably
with
should
having all
have.
those names in the hat, maybe.
Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have asked this before accepting the trade. But is Hawkinson a keeper possibility for me?
You can keep him one more
think
year.
Yeah, I think he was. Which
Because
is
I
the
was
same.
keeping Allen and Diggs past
Yes.
few
See,
years.
Mitch, I think this trade's as dead even as it can get. I really do. You'd have to split hairs to see who's got the upper end.
So, Cameron, what did you think of that trade whenever we did it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty even. I mean, at the time, and still now, I mean, Hawkinson's a better tight end, but Schultz has done really well. I mean, that surprised me. And I don't feel like I've heard anything out of Michael Pittman. Maybe I just don't follow the Colts that close. I don't know.
He
But
catches a ton of balls, but just
yeah,
not much yardage.
not much. And maybe do they have a
And
bye or
don't get
something?
much
I don't know.
touchdowns either.
Yeah,
So,
But he's a good floor type play guy. He's gonna get catches and
Since
Not a
we've
ton
done
of
that
yards, but
trade, Cameron, I've gotten 15.4, 15.3, 14, 10.4, 12.4. Gonna buy.
Man, y'all did that trade
Mhm.
that long ago. Dang, time flies.
Or
But
maybe it wasn't that many weeks. 4 weeks ago we did it. It was
yeah,
something like that. But I
yeah,
mean, his past 5 games, he's scored over 10 points.
yeah. That's good. Yeah, I mean, maybe it just depends on how you want to play, I guess, on the quarterbacks. Because this year it seems like Jalen Hurts is good for like I don't know. His range of outcomes is not as big as maybe Mahomes is. He's not going to score 40. I don't feel like Hurts isn't, but he's also not going to score 15. You know, because he rushes so many touchdowns and he gets one every week at
Mahomes.
least. So
Mahomes has been pretty rough for me since that 40-point blow up against Denver. He only had like 7 points against Denver, but
7.
that was yeah.
Whew.
That was also that week he had the flu too. So
Gotcha. Yeah. So
I'll
that's
cut him.
maybe
I'll
that's
cut him some slack.
maybe that's the only thing I'll say is if you like more consistency, I think you probably like the Jalen Hurts side of the trade, and if you like more uh, big performances, you probably like the Mahomes side more. But it's very even. I didn't have any issue with it. It didn't really make me gasp when I saw it, and go, oh my goodness, I can't believe they did it. Um, it's a good trade, and I love trades. Everybody should know that by now. I send about 5 trade offers to each team every week, so I love trades. I wish we traded a ton. So
Trades are fun as long as people are willing to talk.
yeah,
I probably wore you out, didn't I, Mitch?
No, you didn't. Because I remember whenever we got talking, you were telling me people that were untouchable, and you said Jalen Hurts, and then I threw it out immediately, like just straight up Patrick Mahomes for Jalen Hurts. You're like, oh man, and I was like, okay, he bit. Let's see where this goes.
Well,
And
who was my I had a couple though that were I refused to even think about. It was Jamar Chase. Was it
well,
who's my other one?
you had Bijan and then Rasheed
Oh yeah,
Rice.
yeah. Bijan was one I wasn't gonna.
You don't
Uh,
want to trade Rice either.
yeah, because A Chain was the other one,
Yep, A
but
Chain.
I don't know. I'm starting to backtrack that a little bit. He's made of glass. It looks like.
yeah.
So, all right, I want to transition to the final topic of this episode. So, earlier this week, we had a big game, Eagles and Chiefs Monday Night Football. Last year, that was the Super Bowl match, and Chiefs won that. We saw Eagles win earlier this week. Fast forward to the Super Bowl this year. Are we going to see Eagles and Chiefs again? And if not, who's going to be in there and why? Josh, let's start with you.
I think the Eagles are the best team in the entire league. Um, I mean, I hate to. So the other night, I was watching that game, and I felt it's not just the other night. I've kind of felt this way for a while, but I just get this feeling when I watch the Chiefs. I, why are they? Why did Justin Watson get what was it 10, 11 targets the other night? What's the plan? What's the plan there? You know what I mean? Travis Kelce, I think he's lost a step or two, and you know he's Dayton Taylor. He's almost more on the celebrity side now than a football side. I want to pick the Chiefs, but I ain't gonna be surprised if they ain't in there. Like I told you guys before we started, if the Browns had a quarterback, I think that's a extremely dangerous team. And another team that's really caught fire is Ben will probably want to slap me for this, but the Broncos. I mean, I think they've won. Gosh, I just heard it yesterday. They've won How many
I think it's
now? I mean,
5.
they took the Bills down. They've taken the Chiefs down. They just beat the Vikings, who've been rolling. I mean, Broncos are looking pretty tough. Uh, I thought the Broncos were in trouble with that defense early on, but they're starting to gel a little bit. And I think Sean Payton's working his magic there. Man, I'm just struggling with coming up with a AFC team though, other than the Chiefs. But I don't know. The Chiefs are just they really need a receiver. I'm kind of baffled as to why Rice ain't getting more looks. He's, you know, I want to put him in my lineup, but I don't want to be stuck with that 3, 4, 40-yard catch games. You know, I, uh, I just don't understand what they're. I don't know. I guess in short, they need a receiver because Kelsey's aging, and I think he looks slower this year. I just I don't know. They need a receiver. Luckily for them, this draft class is loaded, so they better get one.
So you didn't give us a team. So if Chiefs aren't going to make it,
You know
who
what?
is?
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and throw one off the wall here. CFC.
You started with so much confidence.
I really, I really would not be surprised if someone like the Broncos snuck in there. I really wouldn't. I, I just, man, I don't know. Maybe the
Or
Dolphins, but they're looking pretty shaky too. You know, they seems like they get in a tough matchup and they can't do it. Um, yeah. Uh, I'm gonna make a bold one here. I'm gonna go Eagles and Broncos. I think Peyton's getting that. He's getting that team rolling.
all right, I was not expecting the Broncos, but if that's your pick, that's all right. Who do you have winning between the Eagles and Broncos?
Oh, I think Eagles. I think Eagles are the best team in the league, hands down.
That just because they're the best team in the league doesn't mean they're going to win. You just pick the Broncos to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go Eagles all the way.
Okay, Cameron, are we going to see a Super Bowl rematch?
Well, real quick, I think last year my Super Bowl prediction was the Eagles and the Broncos, and that was horrible. It didn't work out because it never goes the way you think it will. You know,
Let me think. Let me do a little more thinking too. I let me make a thing here. I do want to go Chiefs, but
Of course,
I
and
mean,
I understand you'd want to go
it's
Chiefs.
watching them the last few weeks. It's kind of hard to pick them. It really is. I mean, maybe Reed will work his magic. Reed and Mahomes, maybe they get this turned around and they're the easy. They might roll in there easy. But if I was picking today, I can't say it's the Chiefs at this moment. But I'm also struggling to come up with it. Uh, I like the Chargers, but look what they're doing. They probably ain't getting in. I'd even think about going Bills, but I don't. I think Josh Allen would choke before they could get to the big stage. And who knows if they're kind of on the ropes right now. I want to go Dolphins, but they tend to lose against big opponents. I don't know. Is it just me? I'm struggling with an AFC team here.
no, I mean, again, last year before the season started last year, we have such short memories. But before the
Actually,
season,
if Burrow didn't get hurt, I'd go there maybe.
yeah, before the season started last year, everybody knew it was going to be some combination of the Rams, the Bills, and the Chiefs. That was like the three teams that everybody knew was going to make it. And that was very wrong. So that's one reason why I picked the Broncos last year. Side note. Anyway, no, I don't think we get a rematch. And I say all that to preface my prediction so you don't kick me off the stream. So I don't think either the Chiefs or the Eagles make the Super Bowl.
Ooh,
I don't think the Eagles are the best team in the league.
Okay.
I think San Fran still is the best team in the
Okay.
league. And I think they win the whole thing. And on the AFC side, there's a lot of teams I think you can make an argument for. But I think I'm going to stick with what I said the first time I was on the podcast. And the only AFC team I had in my top three was the Ravens. I know they lost Mark Andrews, but I don't think it really matters that much. Their defense is very, very good. Their run game is the best in the league. I think, coming into the season, I would maybe think that Philly's run game would be the best in the league, and I think the Ravens are better uh, as we talk now. So I understand people's worries about Brock Purdy, but again, I honestly think that their fourth most athletic person on that team, on that offense, is Brandon Ayuk, and he just had like 170 yards or something receiving in a game, or 140.
Yeah.
I don't know. So when you have Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey, all that they have to have Purdy do is 2 steps and get the ball out of your hands. And that defense is good enough to compete with most other defenses in the league. So yeah, I don't think either the Eagles or the Chiefs make it, and I think San Fran wins over the Ravens.
Wow.
Oh no, San Fran, they've gotten healthier too, and we've seen it. If they're a team, if they stay healthy, I mean, it's going to come down to the Eagles or 49ers in the NFC.
Well, and they
And
just
I've
Cameron,
been,
they picked up Chase Young too. I mean, at the
yeah,
trade deadline. So
I
Cameron,
think it's really going to
I
come
do
down to
like
those two
that.
teams. Go
That's
ahead and go,
good
Josh.
pull there on the Ravens. But I kind of grouped the Ravens in there with with the Bills a little bit.
yeah, they are. Lamar scares me saying
I
that. I mean,
I know it's
but
like so and I know I surprised you guys pulling the Broncos, but my defense on the Broncos is you're dealing with guys who've been there. Russell, is he playing good? No, but he's been there. Peyton, yeah, the coach. I think coaching's big on the Broncos right now. It took them a little bit, new team there for Sean Payton, but I don't know. I think they're starting to finally put it together. I just think that the run they're on, I think's very, very impressive. I mean, they took down 3 powerhouses. Well, okay, 2. Not you wouldn't call the Vikings that, but the Vikings had won like 5 in a row or something. So it just seems like it's like they don't do it in a wow way, but they're starting just to win it. They're just doing enough to win it.
They're finding ways
They're
to win
doing
games. Yeah.
yes.
So, real quick, before I share mine, I said at the beginning of the year, whoever gets home field advantage between the 49ers and Eagles, that's who's going to go to the Super Bowl on the NFC. And I think it's still true today. If the 49ers do get home field advantage, they'll go. If Eagles get home field advantage, they're going to go. The Link is a tough place to play, especially whenever it gets colder. That's going to be rough. And the Eagles only get better whenever that bad weather starts happening. So I am going to say we will have a Super Bowl rematch. I think the Chiefs will make it.
You think they figure it out?
Well, so earlier this week on Monday night, one of the things I want to say, Eagles wanted that more than the Chiefs. I think they just did. There were some things going against the Chiefs. Let me finish here. There's a few things that were going against the Chiefs that game. Weather was an element. I think if it wasn't raining, he would have caught that touchdown pass. And this Chiefs defense, that's real. And any given day, I mean, you have the most talented quarterback in the league. Any given day, they could blow up. They can do it. They might not be a top-rated offense, but they could pull it out and they can do it. And if playoffs go through Kansas City, that's a problem. The only team that I think could give them issues, whether it's either a divisional game, because those are different, so maybe the Broncos, but I think they're going to fall back off. I can see Jacksonville giving them issues. Because if I recall, there's just a history with Jacksonville and Kansas City. Cincinnati, I would have put that in there, but Joe Burrow's the next Andrew Luck, I'm afraid. And I hate saying that because I love Joe Burrow. He's getting hurt left and right. Lamar Jackson, sorry. Nope. I think Baltimore, they're going to find a way to ribcage it in the playoffs. They always do. And until Lamar Jackson can win playoff games, I won't give it to him. And then Josh Allen, man, that's a mess right now. He any given week he could be the best player out there out of all the quarterbacks, but we also see the flip side. And past couple of years, I mean, we get to that point in time, they start to lose steam, and they're already behind. I do think they win that division. I think they find a way to win it because I don't think Miami's as good as what people say that they are. Miami can't beat a good team. So I think we do get a Super Bowl rematch. And I think that's because, Chiefs are struggling. I don't think there's another team still better than them. I think they're getting criticized a little too hard against that game. Eagles, they are the best team in the league right now. And that was going to be an ugly, messy game between those two best teams. There was going to be some extra emotions, some passion going at that. Mistakes were going to be made. And you look at that game and you're like, oh, geez, we just caught this ball, caught that ball. We would have won. Like, they were right there. And I know Patrick Mahomes is probably in that locker room. Yeah, he's saying the right things, but he's probably getting right in their face, like, knock it off. I'm done covering for you guys. I need you guys to show up. So I think they're going to rebound. So Chiefs fans, they need to cool off a little bit. You guys will be just fine. And I think we're going to see a Super Bowl rematch.
Cool.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, real quick too on the Bills because I didn't touch on them. If we had a whole production team here on the podcast, we could have somebody fact check it. But I want to say the broadcast, the last game, they showed something across the bottom of the screen. Josh Allen has never not had a turnover in a game. Every game he's played, he's had at least one turnover. That's crazy.
Are you talking about like just this year?
No, I think it's his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't think is true.
I think that's what they said on the broadcast. That's all. I didn't look into it. Look it up yourself.
Cameron,
Maybe I will.
I think I've seen something like that too.
I thought that's what it said. Yeah,
he's got a ton of turnovers.
Well, I saw that, and if I read it right, I was like, wow. I mean, that is unacceptable. If you want to be in that upper echelon of quarterback, to never not have a turnover is crazy. That's crazy. So.
No, I think it's one of those we're seeing more and more that he's not the elite. He's not in the elite caliber. He could play like an elite, but he's a pretender. Like he's
well, like I said, I thought about the Bills a little bit, but it's so weird because the AFC seems really good, but then when you try to kind of break it down, you can just put so many holes on all of them right now.
I think the better teams are in the NFC. I think Eagles, 49ers, and I'll throw Lions. I think they're going to find a way in the playoffs not to win because until they do it, I won't believe it. But on paper and how the Lions are playing, great. It's like the Cowboys. The Cowboys should be winning, but they find ways to lose.
Yeah. The top NFC teams are definitely better than the top AFC right now.
So, by the beginning of the year, it was AFC top heavy. But I think Chiefs, they'll make it. Jacksonville will be the team to knock them off. If there's a team that's going to knock them off, it's going to be Jacksonville.
Yeah, they've been up and down though too. I mean,
they started off slow, but then they've been hot, and they've lost only one game since.
Yeah, but wasn't it just?
It was 2 weeks ago.
Just last week they got blanked by the 49ers?
No, that was 2 weeks ago, and they lost to a team better than them.
Yeah, but it wasn't close.
After. No, it wasn't close.
I don't know. like I said, I want to go Chiefs. I just, but I just find myself thinking, what are they going to do? You know, uh, unless the only thing I can see is maybe if they're holding. I did read a story the other day that they're holding Tony back, but I don't know. Maybe they turn him loose. I was hoping Rice might get turned loose here after the bye, and maybe he still does. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like you said, the thing that brings me back to the Chiefs, though, like you said, Mitch, is Mahomes. I mean, it's hard to go against him. It really
Best
is.
player in the world. Yeah.
So, all right. I think we've talked enough on tonight's episode. So, Cameron, Josh, once again, thank you for joining tonight's episode.
Thank you.
Ben, miss you, buddy. Looking forward to having you back next week. So,
Yes, you Ben.
as always, if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you all next week. Peace.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Yep.
Thanksgiving.
See you guys.